Make your favorite recipes shareable and pretty with our recipe card template. I'm beginning here in expert mode of Photoshop Elements, but the instructions are exactly the same for Adobe Photoshop except where noted. Step 1 is to download the recipe card template and unzip the file. You'll find a link to download the template in the manual that's accompanying this video. This is the recipe card 1 PSD file from that downloaded folder, and I've already created a duplicate of this file and closed the original so that we don't overwrite it. You'll find specific instructions for doing this and everything else in this video in the manual. Next, we'll clip a photo to the photo clipping mask. In the Layers panel, scroll up to the top of the template and click on the photo clipping mask layer. Then open a photo of your recipe. I already have one open. If you don't have a photo of your recipe, feel free to use a patterned paper instead. Get the Move tool, and holding down the Shift key, click and drag the photo onto the recipe template. In the menu bar, choose Layer, Create Clipping Mask. Then press Ctrl-T, Command-T on a Mac to get the transform options. If you can't see the bounding box of the image, press Ctrl-0, Command-0 on a Mac. To resize the image, click and drag on the corner handles of the bounding box. To reposition the image, click and drag inside the bounding box. To rotate the image, hover your cursor over a corner handle of the bounding box until you see a curved double-headed arrow, then click and drag. When you have the image to your liking, and the boundaries of the image are outside the boundaries of the photo clipping mask, click the check mark to commit. To fit the recipe card back to your screen, in the Layers panel, activate the background layer, then press Ctrl-0, Command-0 on a Mac again. The next step is to replace the text in the template. In the Layers panel, scroll up until you see the name of recipe layer. Double-click on the thumbnail of that layer to highlight all of that text. Type in the name of your recipe, and then click the check mark to commit. Get the horizontal type tool, and in the tool options, open the font picker and choose a font that you like. I'll use the font Oh Wonder Sans. Adjust the size of the font so that it looks nice with the template. And then back in the Layers panel, you'll notice that this type layer is set to an opacity of 50%. You can keep it at 50% or you can raise it all the way up to 100%. Using the same instructions as before, you'll want to replace the text for the ingredients and the text for the instructions. You could stop at this point with your recipe, or you can add a background paper. To do that, in the Layers panel, scroll down and click on the background layer to activate it. Then open a background paper, and with the Move tool, hold down the Shift key and click and drag the paper onto your document. If the paper does not land directly above the background paper, in the Layers panel, click and drag the paper layer down until that it's directly above the background. Press Ctrl-T, Command-T on a Mac to get the transform options, and then in the tool options, click and scrub to the right on either the height or the width, and that will automatically resize the paper. Then click the check mark to commit. If you'd like to add additional background papers or elements to the recipe card, in the Layers panel, click on the layer directly below the photo mask layer. It would be the recipe layer. Open a background paper, and with the Move tool, click and drag it onto the document. Press Ctrl-T, Command-T on a Mac to get the transform options. And then in the tool options, click and scrub to the right on either the width or the height icon until the paper is just a little bit smaller than the width of the recipe card. Click the check mark to commit. get the Move tool, and in the tool options of the Move tool, make sure that Auto Select Layer is unchecked. Then on the document, click and drag the paper down to the bottom of the recipe card. You'll want to fill just a little bit of that extra space down here at the bottom. Now let's fill a little bit of the space at the top of the recipe card. Press Ctrl J, Command J on a Mac to duplicate the paper. Then holding down the Shift key, click and drag that duplicate paper to the top of the document. If you need to fine-tune the placement of the paper, use your keyboard arrow keys. And finally, you'll want to save your document as a high-quality JPEG file and then close this working document without saving. We'd love to have you share your recipe in our Community Make and Take Recipe album on Facebook. You'll find the details for this and all the step-by-step instructions in the manual that's included with this video. So that's how you create a quick and pretty recipe card for sharing. This is Jen White with Digital Scrapper.